Welcome back to the last episode in the Carolina Panthers franchise. Taking a look here at the final play, the final game of this season, the third season in the Panthers franchise, and we win a Super Bowl. Really awesome stuff right there. What are we going to do in this episode now? We are going to be wrapping up this franchise series, prepping it for the future, making sure that this team is very, very prepared for the next season, can possibly run it back, and is ready to shape a dynasty. That's the idea here. We don't have a lot to do in this week per se. I will be moving through the weeks now. Off-season and preseason will be one episode, and I will be kind of leaving this team at a point where they are just ready to dive into a new season, start a new season, and progress the future. The contract has been extended, as you can see, 3 years, 5 mil, that's all right. Let's continue. What I like to see, of course, is Coach of the Year for the Panthers, Coach Dreddeus on the right-hand side. That is awesome. Apart from that, 3 times NFC champion, 1 time Super Bowl champion, the first Super Bowl for the Carolina Panthers. Super Bowl MVP was Tommy Tremble, much deserved, win against the Chargers here. Pat Mahomes, overall MVP, Davante Adams, Offensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, Defensive Player, Drew Allar is the Offensive Rookie, and Jafari Harvey is the Defensive Rookie for the Chiefs. So that was basically the season recap. A quick look at the retirements. Keenan Allen, Graham Glasgow, Jimmy Ward, Stephon Gilmore, Ryan Jensen, John Feliciano, Robert Quinn, Cameron Jordan, Jawan James. It's nice that these players are stepping out of the game with a ring to show for it. Apart from that, I'm just going to be clicking through this just slowly so you can see maybe one of your favorite dudes retiring or whatever. A lot of players, not that many from active duty, and any coaches. Yes, offensive coordinator Glenn Powers. All right. Be that as it may, we do have 122 points. I don't think I will be spending those here. Weekly awards, one more thing to take a look at. Tommy Tremble, 6 receptions, 57 receiving yards, 9.5 on average, 1 receiving touchdown. And Brandon Dorius on left edge, 1 tackle, 1 sack. Looking really nice. A very, very good game for him. A very, very good franchise series for him. Let's dive into next week. It's time for players to negotiate. We've got Bryce Young, Lucas Van Ness up for their 5th-year options. CJ Green, last chance to negotiate. Steven Nelson, Khalil Mack, Fletcher Cox. These are all decent players, but they're all mentors, so I will be letting them go. CJ Green, I actually don't have any qualms keeping him around, signing him for a very, very long deal, just giving him a little bit more incentive to stay around. And there we go. Lock down him. We will, of course, accept the 5th-year option for Bryce Young, and we will, of course, accept this for Lucas Van Ness as well. Otherwise, we would have to negotiate next year, and by doing this, we have kind of plugged that, and now we are ready to move on into free agency. In my opinion, free agency always boils down to which players I really need, which positions I need. By looking at the roster, you get a pretty good idea what that might be. We've got Bryce Young, we've got Zach Wilson as our quarterbacks here in this room. No worries. The fullbacks, the running backs are well settled. No worries at all. The fullback, settled. Wide receivers, that is looking fantastic. We've got so interesting players here. Even down to new additions like Antonio Williams, who's now 73, and Ali Jennings, 24-71. I did also, of course, bring in players from the practice squad that were just available. Ali Jennings, for instance, this is a player that I cannot even see myself going with here. He's 24. This is just a dude that I will be cutting immediately. I don't see the point in keeping him around. Everybody else here looks really interesting, really worth keeping. Tight ends, no questions right here. Very happy with these choices. Ike Mekwonu, fantastic stuff here. Tegra Chibola as a backup. With the startup trait, we can use him wherever we want to. Left guard, Joe Farmer. We've got CJ Green behind him. This is a fantastic setup. I love this. Rasheem Betts, we need a new center backup. We're going to bring one in. No worries. Right guard, same thing. No worries. Right tackle. We do have AJ Jackson here, and we do have Otis Daniels. who is 22 years of age, 66 overall. I could seriously see myself putting Daniels behind Stromberg, and then just slotting over AJ Jackson behind Lindsay Rainey, for instance, just, to solve that situation right there. I don't really care. I could even keep Otis Daniels on the practice squad, no worries. Left edge, Brandon Dorius, Chico Bennett, that works quite well. Right edge, I've got Fadil Diggs, I've got Paul Paulson, that works. On D-tackle, we now have Tommy Eichenberg returning from the practice squad right there. And I like this setup. This is a young room. These are young dudes. We've got very nice development with these two here. Do we have a reveal for Tyleek? It's Star. All right. Could be worse. Left outside linebacker, Jemiah Trotter. And that's great. Ash Green is here, as is Javier Hurst, 22 and 70. Middle linebacker, Danny Stutzman. Now alone here, right outside linebackers, we've got Luke Ness, we've got Yuta Gross-Matos, we've got Bo Clark. We could move over one of these dudes to function as a backup. For instance, I could put Yuta Gross-Matos behind Danny Stutzman, and we'd have a very solid setup right there. Cornerbacks, JC Horn. There's a bunch of players in here. CJ Henderson is probably the biggest question mark. Looking down here, Cube Luke Kelly. That's also a question mark. He's 25 and 76 rated. He's not that great looking compared to Denver Harris and Teddy Watson. So I do think I might be cutting Cube Luke Kelly, even if he should probably deserve a chance here. But yeah, just keeping him out here. Free safety, Kalen Bullock. We've got Kamari Wilson and Hudson Clark. I like this setup a lot. I wouldn't even know who to cut here. If I would have to choose, it would of course be Hudson Clark. And at strong safety, we've got Jamie Robinson and Malik Mustafa. Great setup here. So looking at that, I don't really see too many areas where I'm like, yeah, we need to add somebody, because we already have very, very good players everywhere. Looking at who's available, that is always a big question. We're not looking for a quarterback. We're not looking for a running back. We're not looking for a fullback. We're not looking for wide receivers, and so on and so forth. So basically, the big question is, who would we like to see on the team? Is there anybody in here that would just be a fun addition to the team? I think we could get Travis Kelce out of free agency, to be honest, as crazy as that sounds. I think we could get Tyler Higbee out of free agency, as crazy as that may sound. So we're just gonna leave that as is for the time being. I don't see the need to bring in anybody here. There's no crazy game changer where I'm like, yeah, if we bring this player onto the team, we are going to be insane and unstoppable. It's just nobody that I can see here. There are players I would like to bring in because they're just fun to have on the team and versatile and all that. But on the other hand, we can just as well fill that with free agents later in preseason, and that's actually the way I think I will be approaching this here. Again, we just have super solid players everywhere. There's hardly anybody in here where I really have a feeling that I have to go for it. Another thing to consider, that is something that can help when you're looking at a team and you're like, I don't know where to look. There are these players here, and these players will be up for negotiation next year. All right, so we've got Ike Mekwonu, we've got Jonathan Mingo, we've got Ricky Stromberg, we've got Jamie Robinson, Malik Mustafa, AJ Jackson, Darnell Washington, Otis Daniels. Otis Daniels is actually the first one that's up for negotiation in 2 years' time. Looking at these players here, I could actually see quite a few of these signing cheap offers. Someone like Malik Mustafa, I don't see any issues here. Jamie Robinson, I don't see any issues here. Ricky Stromberg, I don't see any issues. Jonathan Mingo, also same thing. I don't think he would want too much. Ike Mekwonu could be a question mark, but then we've got Tego Chibola, who could take over at that position without losing too much quality. And Darnell Washington, same thing. I think he's a reasonable dude, and I think that we could get him to re-sign a reasonable contract. So, no free agency moves. We're going to move on to drafting. We didn't have that many picks. We had a first, a second, a fourth, and a sixth round pick. With the first round pick, I went for Dylan Fletcher. That's a cornerback, 75 rated at age 21. I felt like bringing in a corner could be a good idea, just bring some fresh blood into that room. I went the same route with Larry Cooks. He just looked like an interesting prospect. 67, not that highly rated. But there we go. Kyle Busch, 72 rated. That's a center. Again, I feel like, bringing in somebody that could help us out at that position could be helpful. I don't necessarily want to bring in a mentor. Maybe another young player would be nice. Same goes with the left tackle position. Rick Hines, I can use him basically everywhere on the field. I just felt like that could be something to help us out. All right, let's take a quick look at the overall picks in the NFL. First overall, Caden Proctor, left tackle, 78 rated. Arch Manning, quarterback, 78 rated. Actually looking like pretty good picks right there. Zachariah Branch going 7th overall. Caleb Downs going 9th overall, 79 rated. That's actually the highest two rated players to go. D'Angelo Wallace, also pretty highly rated. I think we didn't pick horribly. To be honest, the draft wasn't really my main focus right there. Highest rated player going, yes, 279 rated players. That's actually pretty good already. But then again, that is not something that I was looking for. By the way, for those of you that noticed it, we do have the 282 staff points available because I lost both of my staff positions. First the offensive and then the defensive coordinator. So we're going to have to be rebuilding those again. I will not be spending the points now because, I'm not going to be playing another season. But that is something that I would do, of course. We're now going to be moving into preseason and, just continuing to shape the roster. Time to cut 10 players ahead of the start of the next regular season. We're going to be doing that in the roster view, of course. I did add a few players here and there out of free agency just because I thought, well, might help us. We're going to be going over the team now really, really quickly. Bryce Young, Zach Wilson, that's a safe one here. Running backs, that's a safe one as well. I'm not going to change a thing here. Fullback, that works for me. There was one change here. I picked up Sky Moore. He was available as a free agent. I kind of like this one. On the other hand, I'm like, well, do I really need him though? I do have, for instance, Terrace Marshall Jr., who is a little bit older and yet almost the same overall. I don't really see the need to go for this one here. I have a very, very good front three here. I actually don't think that I even need Sky Moore. So I really am going to be cutting him now simply because I would rather have some legacy players around like Anthony Schwartz or Terrace Marshall Jr. compared to just players that I just brought in. Tight ends, this one is going to stay as is. I like this too much. Left tackle, same thing. Tegro Jibola, Ike Mekwonu. Tegro might take over from Ike Mekwonu here. By the, if we can re-sign Ikem here. Rick Hines, that is a new one, of course, that's a rookie. He will be moving to the practice squad very, very quickly. Also time to cut back on that. Left guard, Joe Farmer and CJ Green, they're going to be here, both of them. At center, I've got Rasheem Bates, and I actually like this. Carl Busch is not that far off. He can grow. We're going to have a very, very on-level development here. I like that. Right guard, Lindsey Rainey, 2377. Right tackle, I have these players here. Looking at Otis Daniels, he might be a dude that could, profit of growing in the practice squad just a little bit more. I'm not sure if he's already ready to be a starter here. So we need a player for right guard actually. Everybody else here is already handled pretty well. At right tackle, we're done. Left edge, we've got Brandon Dorius, we've got Za'Darius Smith, and Chico Bennett Jr. I did bring in Za'Darius Smith as a solid backup player here. Chico Bennett, I feel like I will have to put him on the practice squad again. I'd rather have an experienced veteran player, mentor maybe again on this position. Right edge, Fadil Diggs, AJ Epinesa, I love that. This is an awesome addition. And we've got Paul Paulson, who will again go onto the practice squad. Players that I want to put on the practice squad that I can't put there will be cut. D-tackles, Landon Jackson, Tyleik Williams, Davin Van, and Tommy Eichenberg. I'm going to leave this as is. It's a fantastic group. No changes needed. Left outside linebackers, we have quite a few players on this on this group here right now. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., clear starter. I brought back Khalil Mack. I feel like he really can add something to this room. and be a fantastic backup for Jemiah Trotter. AJ Green, no, it's not AJ Green, of course, it's Ash Green and JB Hurst. I feel like both of them can continue to grow all the practice squad. I do say Ash Green as a future prospect. I really do. Xavier Hurst might be an interesting one as well. But for the time being, I'm going to be moving him to the practice squad. Mid linebackers, Danny Stutzman and Cole frickin' Holcomb is a backup player for me now. I love this. This is awesome, man. Right outside linebacker, Lucas Van Ness. I've got Ito Gross-Matos and Bo Clark. I'm going to leave this as is again. I don't see the need to really change anything here. Ito Gross-Matos is good. I might even use him on the mid linebacker group just as a backup player there, but I can do that in the depth chart anyways, so we're going to leave this like it is. Cornerbacks. Now things get spicy here because we have Domani Jackson, we have JC Horn, CJ Henderson, Travis Hodges Tomlinson is 25 and 80, and I brought in Dylan Fletcher, that's a rookie. I've got Denver Harris, Teddy Watson, and Larry Cooks. Larry Cooks being the lowest rated player, I feel like he can go onto the practice squad. So there we go. I also feel like we could put Teddy Watson and the other what's-his-face also on the practice squad. They will be interesting players if CJ Henderson moves on. All right. For the time being, I would keep him around. I would use him as my CB4, maybe even 5, because if Dylan Fletcher, I would actually use Dylan Fletcher a little bit higher. So the order would be JC Horn, Domani Jackson, Travis Hodges Tomlinson, Dylan Fletcher, and then CJ Henderson. Free safeties, we've got Caleb Bullock, we've got Kamari Wilson, and Hudson Clark. Hudson Clark, again, going to be a player on the practice squad. Ooh, I can't do that. I cannot do that. I think I'm going to have to cut him. He's 24 and 75. Or do I move him to another team? I think I'll move him to another team that has a need for free safety. The Bears actually need a free safety. Well, there we go. Let's move him on here. I'd rather put him on another team than cut him. I always like to give players, new life in their careers. Jamie Robinson, great stuff. Malik Mustafa, great stuff. Cade York and Ryan Stonehouse completing the team setup. Are we down to where we need to be? That's a question right here. Yeah, no new players, no more players need to be cut. We're going to be upgrading everybody here, kaboom, via the one button upgrade option. And yeah, I think I will now be moving into next week, first week of the new season. We're going to be looking at free agents there. Is there anybody that we can add, would like to add after players have been cut? And then we're going to be finalizing this group of players, taking a look at the final product, and then basically letting this team out into the wild. First week of regular season. And we now see the final products, the final free agents ahead of us. I don't see anybody where I'm like, yeah, we have to bring that dude in. Of course, if there is somebody in here that I see, then I might act on it. Again, you can see that there are interesting players in here. Keaton Mitchell, 24 and 83. That's actually a pretty good player. Isaiah Spiller is looking pretty good. Julian McLaughlin, Bucky Irving. So nice options if you're still looking for one or two key players. For the most part, Tyquan Thornton here, contract Rebel, DJ Chark, former names that we had on our team. Interesting players as well, but just nobody that we really need right now. Tight ends, also interesting options here and there, but nobody, again, that I would feel like we have to go for it. I think we still need a right guard backup, if I'm not completely mistaken. So Lael Collins could be an interesting option here. 33.76, even has a mentor tag, so that could be good. David Andrews, center, Tyler Steen, 26.77. This is actually a really interesting one because he's not horrible. If you compare him to Lael Collins, he's just a mentor. Bring him in, use him for a year, and then let him go. Or do we kind of build up another backup player like AJ Jackson? I actually think I like this idea. So Tyler Steen, welcome to the team, I think. You've got good strength, you're looking solid. Why ever not? Here we go. Nice. Right tackle, nobody interesting in here. Left edge, nobody interesting. Florenzo Fatikazi could be an option because he has that super high strength rating. and pretty good awareness as well. But yeah, I'm not really sold on that one. D-tackles, we don't need anybody. We're super solid. Grady Jarrett has been added here. Greg Gaines. But yeah, still, no, there's nobody here that I want to rather bring in than, over the players that I already do have. Kaiser White, nope. DJ Wanham, nope. Zion McCollum, Rodney Thomas. Yeah, there's just nobody here that is like super tempting. I will take a look at practice squad eligible players though. Just to be, just to look at them and say, well, I at least looked at them, right? Ennis Rakestraw Jr., free safety, 23 and 67. He actually doesn't look horrible. I can't sign him to the practice squad. Why? Because it's full. Could it be that it's full? Maybe. Never mind. We're now going to be taking a look at the roster, final shaping of it, and then we will be, of course, taking a look at the lineup. Gonna be telling you who my favorite players were. Alright, this looks pretty well sorted all over. I think Antonio Williams could be a player that we could also add to the practice squad when we're thinking about that, but I think we have that extra spot, so let's just keep him on the roster here. Yeah, this is actually a pretty cool setup. I like that. Alrighty, looking very solid here. Left outside linebackers, mid linebackers, right outside linebackers. We've got all the cornerbacks, the free safeties, the strong safeties, kicker, punter, draft picks. And here are the practice squad players. There are a few in here where I'm not too sure if I really want to keep them, especially looking at, who's in here. Somebody like Joey Wilkins, I'm not sure. I certainly didn't sign this player. 2163, the age is alright. Raekwon Hines, I did draft this dude. Otis Daniels, Tyrell Bullitt, right tackle. George Hawkins, right tackle. I'm not sure if I brought these dudes in, but whatever. We've got the left backs, left outside linebackers, that works. About 3 cornerbacks, that might be a little bit excessive. Larry Cooks, 2267. I don't think he's ever going to get a shot at this one here. So we might as well release this dude here, for instance. Create a little bit of room here on the practice squad to maybe bring in 1 or 2 exciting new prospects. In terms of the depth chart, that's also always quite interesting. How do we shape this team now? Well, Bryce Young starting QB, no questions. Running backs, I think this just makes sense. Frank Gore has taken over here. We have an injury for Tyrion Davis-Price, but Tyrion Davis-Price would be my 3rd, actually. It would be set up like this. George Gregory here. Jonathan Mingo as the starter. I've got Torrey Horton. I've got Jalen Polk. I've got Laviska Shenault, Terrace Marshall, and Anthony Schwartz. Tight end, Tommy Tremble, Washington Anson. That works. Left tackle, I like this setup. Left guard, I don't like this setup. Let's go. Let's just correct this one here. I do have faith in Joe Farmer. I think this is the season where he'll go up to a high 70 at least. Lindsey Rainey, here we go. I get the intentions of the CPU, but I don't want to do that. We've got Brandon Dorius, Cedarius Smith. I like that. Right age, Fadil Diggs, and AJ Epinesa. Loving it. Tullig, David Van, Tommy Eichenberg. All right, Jeremiah Trotter, Khalil Mack, Danny Stutzman, and Cole Holcomb. That is fantastic. Lucas Vaness and Yetur Gross Matos and Bo Clark. That's a beautiful lineup. JC Horn, I've got Damani Jackson, and now I'm going to be using Travis Hodges Tomlinson here, and I will be demoting CJ Henderson to be my 5th cornerback. It doesn't really matter too much. We have a very, very solid group of players, a very solid lineup right here. That is just working extremely well. And before we end this now, I want to take a final look at these players, a final look at this lineup, to give you an idea what the team looks like right now, heading into the next season. I might do like a quick one-off episode in the future sometime, just, moving through a few seasons. But I really feel confident in this team. Pretty proud of what we've built here, to be honest as well. Especially the middle 3 here, super young dudes that probably weren't that hot looking. I think it was 59 rated or something like that, and now he is a 76 rated dude. Rasheem Betts 78, Lindsey Rainey 78. Loving this. Ike McWano still going strong. We've got good backup players. that can really slot in and fill in. We've got rookies here and there. We've got solid pieces. So just a very, very good group of players that came together here on the offensive line. And the better the offensive line got, the better Bryce Young was in effect, because he had more time to focus on his duties. Tommy Tremble, 92 rated, Darnell Washington, and Ben Sinnott. I like this group a lot. It's really fantastic, led by an X-Factor player. And all the others behind him are so solid as well. Really good, interchangeable. Looking at my front three wide receivers, I've got Jonathan Mingo, Jalen Polk, Torrey Horton over there, Laviska Shenault being the fourth wide receiver, then Terrace Marshall, who, despite not being the hottest commodity on the market, he still is a very, very good wide receiver, very fast. Same goes for Anthony Schwartz. Free agency additions, Chuba Hubbard and Frank Gore bringing up the rear here. I really like this combination as well. Tyrion Davis-Price, a very solid and strong running back. Branson Robinson, 75 already, developing nicely. George Gregory, I love that. Zach Wilson, the fact that he came here and that he was successful here and that he is just always there when I need him, this is just a beautiful storyline. I love that. And Bryce Young had a really, really great time here. He's grown very, very nicely. I never managed to bring him up to superstar again after demoting him. But, you know, looking at his stats, 3,608 yards last season, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions only, so that is solid. But he has gone up in the completion percentage quite solidly, up to 58. I think we can get that higher. The yards per game went down ever so lightly, but that is because he played more games in this season. He was injured quite a long time, so you got to compare it to this season here. I really feel like he's a very, very mature player now. I love the fact that he's that good. Yeah, I'm just really pretty proud that we managed to... I don't know what these settings are supposed to be back here. I don't even... Why is there a punt return for him? Jesus, what the hell? Anyways, now pretty happy with Bryce Young. I would never change him. He's 25, so we can just keep rolling with him. On defense, again, we solidified a lot of parts of this defensive unit that needed solidifying. We brought in players that weren't over the top great, but I feel like they really added to the team overall. And the players that we drafted, and it was that one crucial draft where we brought in a lot of players like Danny Stutzman, like Landon Jackson, Davin Van, Fadil Diggs, Brandon Dorius, and of course Jeremiah Trotter Jr. We drafted Kalen Bullock. It was the 2024 draft that really made a big change for us, and I feel like that was really the essence. The 25 draft was good as well, but we didn't bring in as many players, but just here and there. And then over the course of the season, we adjusted here and there again, like bringing in Lucas Van Ness. That was a big addition in my opinion. We drafted Tyleek Williams. That was a nice one. We also have players stepping up from behind others. We had Von Bell sitting at strong safety. Jamie Robinson was behind him, and now he's the starter. That's awesome. I love that. And these are the types of storylines that I like to go for. And we've got a lot of these, waiting to happen. Bo Clark here will be ready to take over. But Lucas Van Ness is up for a new deal. Let's see what he wants. We've got fantastic backup players. Cole Holcomb, Khalil Mack. That's fantastic. Yetur Gross-Matos. These three alone could be a fantastic linebacking group. And same goes for the edge rushers. We've got really great players. I'm very proud of the D-tackle room because these are all basically drafted players that we brought in and developed ourselves. The cornerback room is super solid. I love that as well. The special teams, the kickers, York and Stonehouse, they're doing fantastically well. I really am enjoying both of these. The specialists, we've got so much variety going on here. I'm going to be using Laviska Shenault probably as my slot wide receiver. But, Jalen Polk, yeah, go for it, man. Terrace Marshall is an option. I can switch, mix and match down here to kind of save strength for Chuba Hubbard. So we've got so many interesting prospects, so many interesting players, so many interesting storylines that we developed over the time here. I'm just enjoying this a lot. I love the fact that we got to win a Super Bowl, and I will now be stop talking. I will be stop talking. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it, guys. in all seriousness, I'm going to say thank you so much for sticking around. That's a wrap probably for Madden 24. Next up on the new Madden, I will be choosing another franchise series. Can't wait to get going there, to be brutally honest. I am bulk recording right now, so I am recording in advance. Yeah, gonna say thank you so much for being here with me, making this special for me, sticking around, going the way with me. Gonna say thank you. Do drop a like, please subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for making this special for me. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, stay awesome and see you next time.